So this absolute Superman, for the first time within his entire life, gets to the point of so much rage where he actually considers taking the life of another human being. And speaking of death, murder, and loss, we move back in time to Krypton. You know, the iconic planet where almost everyone dies in the end due to the planet's government and elites and their selfishness. Because now with the deterioration and radiation polluting the planet now being public knowledge, everything is in chaos and ruin. His parents being formally sentenced to death by the elites and police force of Krypton for sharing and participating in said knowledge that they were trying to keep hidden. But at this moment, there was no safe place left on Krypton, not just for Kal-El and his family, but for anyone. As the comic goes on to say, the world finally knew the truth, that Krypton was breathing its last breath. In the Science League, the elite of Krypton had known this for months, but they tried to hide the truth while secretly enacting their own plans for escape. But in the wake of this new revelation, the planet began to explode in more ways than one. Full-on riots and chaos swept across the Redlands, along with rumors of massacres in the city. Towers and buildings burning in the distance, all while the planet itself, Krypton, was coming apart beneath them. And while everything does seem hopeless for the people of Krypton and their planet here, of course knowing how it all ends, it seems like Superman, Kal-El's parents, at least have a plan or are trying to make it work, as they have created a giant ship, not big enough to save everyone, but everyone that they can. And this right here, with his parents being not only scientists, but very good, caring, and understanding people, they literally weep for the inhabitants of Krypton, everyone that they can't save. The Dual family down the street, the Galax, who has had them over for dinner, all the people they have known throughout their lives, some of which they just can't save. And as Kal-El, as a child, watches this, he goes on to say that rage swelled up within him as he watched his parents weep and cry, and he vividly remembered swearing to himself that when and whatever planet they found themselves on next, he would make it better than this one, better than the situation here on Krypton, no matter what it took. And that same rage, that same conviction still holds true to this day. As we move over back on Earth, Pakistan specifically, we see a red rush, a unrelenting and almost unstoppable force coming into this little outpost base right here, with a bunch of the peacemakers, this police force of this absolute universe, hunkered down and getting ready for a giant confrontation. Because as we were reminded, 23 people are dead, gunned down, for the very unforgivable crime of just laughing at a man with a gun. One specific peacemaker massacred a platoon of people, innocent civilians. And this here just set off the rage within Superman. And when Superman is angry and wants something done, there is almost nothing and no one that can stop him. As we see direct evidence of this, him busting through the door, looking for that one specific peacemaker. Superman, so utterly blinded by rage, he is almost acting on instinct, all while the artificial intelligence in his suit is trying to locate him. But the suit even goes on to say that the Lazarus Corps cyber defenses are of a sophistication beyond this planet's natural capabilities, meaning that specific peacemakers' whereabouts are heavily encrypted. Of course, we know it's Brainiac behind the scenes controlling everything. Now, we're not sure if that Brainiac is the same one as he is shown in the main DC universe, but as we will find out, he's pretty close. Either way, with him not able to actually find this peacemaker, he just grabs the nearest person close to him, going on to say that Christopher Smith, the peacemaker, he murdered 23 innocent people. Where is Lazarus hiding him? With Superman almost not having control of his own actions. The guy here, this peacemaker, thinking that Superman is about to just straight up kill him. But in that moment, Kal-El realizes something. That no, he isn't that same little boy on Krypton, helpless to the world around him crashing down. He is in someplace new, someplace different where he himself is a totally different being and he isn't that same helpless person anymore, causing him to instantly stop and subdue his rage for the moment. Which I think is pretty cool that this absolute Superman, he isn't as refined as your normal Superman would be. Still pretty young and doesn't have a full grip on his powers, so it's almost scary to see when he lashes out. He's almost unpredictable in that way. But eventually the artificial intelligence named Soul in his suit eventually does find this peacemaker, Christopher Smith, though Brainiac is now trying to reverse counterattack and infiltrate the suit. And it seems like Brainiac wants to speak with this now new Superman. He is giving him a deal, offering Smith's whereabouts in exchange for a little conversation. But with this, we move back over across space and time to the final moments of Krypton, where we see some of the other Kryptonians on the ship that his parents made, adopting and wearing the same type of suits that Superman is wearing here on Earth, made out of the ship itself. Meaning if everything was going to be successful, Kal-El would have been among the other dozens of Kryptonians on Earth wearing this specialized gear. But unfortunately, as we see, something goes very wrong and he is a sole survivor. But even here, as he is taking the last moments to almost say goodbye to the planet itself, he goes on to talk with Krypto, just having a little moment with him, asking, so what do you think the next planet will be like? And just at that time, interrupting a little moment that they had, the ground itself literally starts to shake and explode underneath them. Radiation and green energy, the planet dying itself, erupting from every orifice. And it looks like this is over for little Kal-El. falling into the pits and dying without any type of suit or protection. But it seems like Krypto the dog here isn't just for show, as he saves little Kal-El's life. Thankfully, this little crisis here averted. Unfortunately, you can't really say the same for the rest of Krypton, as there is just riots and chaos everywhere. As you would assume and probably guess, people running everywhere, thrashing around, trying to find safe haven when the planet itself is going to explode. With the comic even going on to say, the higher-ups conspired for months to build enough ships to evacuate the planet. But no, not allowing the normal citizens. These ships were supposed to be built in secret, only for the elites of Krypton to escape, and for everyone else to just die along with the planet. What could Krypton have accomplished in that time if the guilds allowed themselves to work together? Surely more people would have been saved, no doubt. Maybe not all, but as it was, not a single ship managed to take off that day. Not one. At least not one from any of the major cities, as we see his parent ship that they built actually takes off, flying high and almost putting everyone on the ship into space, away from this dying planet and onto a new life elsewhere. But for little Kal-El, things were a little bit different for him. As he goes on to say, the strangest thing happened to me once we took flight. I almost felt a profound calmness wash over me, a confidence that I didn't even know I had. I felt hope. I even think I smiled a little. But as soon as everything is looking up and good for them, it all comes crashing down. As soon as he looks out of the window, he sees it, with the speed of a bullet, ginormous irradiated chunks of Krypton itself, almost like a bullet fired from a gun the size of a planet. And just like that, the very hope he had was torn away. The massive ship, their only hope, destroyed. All of the Kryptonians on board flailing out and falling. Thankfully though, everyone on board had these very specialized suits, ones that were very high tech even for Kryptonian standards, as they almost function like nanotech, forming around them into their own little mini escape pods. But even still, even when everyone has this little mode of transportation, not everyone is going to make it out. Some of the ships not only crash into each other, but into the debris of the decaying planet. Kal-El even seeing his parents on a distant ship, with us seeing around the planet just how bad everything has gotten. Cities crumble, mountains topple, the entirety of Krypton covered in green smog, completely beyond repair as the planet breathes its final last breaths. That will be the legacy of Krypton, no matter the grandeur or the majesty, no matter the history or the power of science, not even the depth of love. It can all go away, every last speck of it, in an instant. As we seemingly see, Kal-El is the last remaining of the ships, the only one unscathed and made it off the planet. It isn't explicitly said or shown, but from what we can infer, he is the last surviving member of Krypton. He is truly the last son of Krypton. His parents, even down to Krypto his dog, seemingly all gone and away. As he drifts alone through space, of course following the iconic story of Superman from here on out. Him drifting alone through space onto his new home of Earth. Except now he isn't just an infant baby, now carrying all of the trauma, the hurt, the guilt of witnessing everything he has ever known and loved blown away. Which now, as we come back to the present, just makes his rage in the moment all the more understandable. With him now deciding to pursue different plans, saying, forget Smith, I don't want to know where he is hiding. Because if I know, I'm afraid. Instantly his suit thinking he's afraid of Lazarus. Because yes, given what the suit has learned about Brainiac, he says that Superman's fear is warranted. And with Lazarus under Brainiac's control is up to no good. But no, Superman isn't talking about Lazarus or any of the problems here. He says no, if I get my hands on Smith, I am afraid of what I might do to him. And right now, I just need to be left alone. And mostly, I just need to be reminded of home. As we see this absolute Superman, this almost lost wanderer of this new planet Earth he is on, still grieving and as lost as ever, heading towards Smallville, a place that his mainline counterpart knows very well. But in this universe where everything is different, everything is twisted, who knows what he will find and what he will uncover here in his search for a place, a search for a home. But of course, that is something that we will see later as this issue and video comes to a close. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, or subscribe if you're new and want to see more content just like this. As always, this was AJ here at The Hero Informer, and thank you for watching.